All right, guys. Taking the gloves off today. Taking the gloves off today. There was a movie back in the day with Morris Chestnut and Anthony Anderson. And in the movie, Vivica Fox, I think it was called Two Can Play That Game, was giving this man the business about this whole relationship thing and the whole nine. But anyway, at some point in the movie, Anthony Anderson looked Morris Chestnut dead in his eyes and he said, "You, my friend, are guilty. Guilty of lust." Taking the gloves off today, guys. Got 10 fragrances in my collection that stop women dead in their tracks. Sexy, sensual, seductive, lust, inducing, if you will. These fragrances, in my humble experience, have been ones that have stopped women and they want to know, hey, what is that you got on? Let's talk about it. Two, what's good is you got Darren, man, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy, the Fashion and Fragrance channel. If you're into fashion and fragrance, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon as well. That way, you'll get notified anytime I upload new content on the channel. And like I said, guys, in the intro, I'm taking the gloves off today, man. Just it is what it is. It does what it does. This is my experience. It is what it is. 10 sexy, lust-inducing fragrances. These have been some fragrances in my experience that once I've worn these fragrances, or when I've worn these fragrances, people have stopped and asked, what is that you are wearing? Super, super sexy. Now, this is a little bit different from those highly just complimented fragrances that, you know, that draw people in at a mass appeal. And we're not talking about those today. This is a totally different subject matter. All right. These are sexy fragrances. And again, we're continuing on with this theme of the week, man. This is the love week. This is Valentine's Day this week. And you guys don't want to miss what I want to talk about today. The fragrances on this list, one in this category. So if you want to see what's on the list, you know the routine, man. Keep it locked right here.
The Bowtie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we are back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Let's go ahead and jump into the list. I got two quick honorable mentions, so we're going to run right through this. It is what it is. Let's get it. From the house of Masque Milano, this is Tango. Tango, and it's all in the name, man. Tango. You guys don't know what the tango is, you need to look it up. All right, but this fragrance is super sexy, man. It's got a little bit of cumin in here just to give a little bit of skank on you. But that's not bad sometimes when you're talking about sexy fragrances. Sometimes those kind of notes can be a little bit alluring. And it is in this fragrance. You pair it with some rose, you pair it with some benzoin and some ambery touches, cinnamon. This thing is fantastic. From the house of Masque Milano, let's go ahead and get it to do the tango. All right, the next quick honorable mention comes from the house of by Kilian, and I could do a whole list almost of just Kilian fragrances, but I won't do that. I want some variety. But this one is one of my secret weapons because most guys will not try this scent because it's marketed towards women, but this one is called Playing with the Devil. Playing with the Devil, man. And if you got seduction on your mind, man, guys, put it on your skin. You gotta put this stuff on your skin. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's very fruity in the opening. You got some peach in here, some pimento, some lychee. So it's really kind of sweet in the opening, but the dry down, man, you get some ambery touches with some sandalwood and some tonka bean. It sweetens it up, you know, kind of puts that whole sexy spin on it, man. But this is from the house of by Kilian, one of my secret weapons, man. Seduction is on the brain, playing with the devil. All right, guys, now the top 10 on this list, man, I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight into it and break it in with this one from the house of Tom Ford, Tobacco Oud. Tobacco Oud from Tom Ford. And again, you talk about some brands that does seduction well. Tom Ford, Kilian, at the top of my list with Initio when you talk about sexy, seductive fragrances. And this one is all of those things in a bottle. You got tobacco, of course, you have oud, you have that boozy whiskey in this as well. Like I said, one of the best comments I ever read on this fragrance is a woman said that I smelled this fragrance on a guy and I wanted to make love to him and then run away right afterwards. What can I say? That pretty much sums up this fragrance, man. It's a little bit animalic, but it is so freaking sexy, man. And I'm telling you, this stuff works. It's from the house of Tom Ford. This is tobacco. If you could bottle up sexuality and sensuality, then it would smell something like this next fragrance. It's from the house of Chanel, and this is called Coromandel. Coromandel. This is a very, very, very sexy fragrance with a little hint of sophistication, might I add. You get rose in here, you get white chocolate, and that little bit of sophistication comes in with the patchouli in this fragrance. Again, sexy, sexy, sexy. Nothing else really needs to be said. You gotta get your nose on this one, guys. It's from the house of Chanel. Again, this is called Coromandel. All right, guys, this next fragrance was actually nicknamed the Seducer by the creator of this fragrance from the house of Roger Parfums. This is Parfums de la Nuit number 2. Parfums de la Nuit number 2, man. It's right here is aptly named the Seducer, man. Listen, there's a chocolatey patchouli in here. You get some ambery tones, especially coming from that benzoin in here. Works really well with the patchouli, man. Very, like I said, give this very chocolatey undertone to this fragrance. Of course, there's a little bit of animalic notes in here, castoreum. There's a little bit of civet, but not overly. Not overly, of course, not going to turn you off. I'm telling you, that is just what adds the sex appeal to this fragrance, man. This is one of those fragrances that you just gotta put your nose on. Actually, reading notes on this fragrance is not going to do it justice. But when you put this on your skin and you go outside and you let the wind catch this thing, all right? Especially that cool air. Next level. Next level when you talk about sexy, man. This is from the house of Roger Parfums. This is Parfums de la Nuit number 2. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, man. From the house of the Harmonist, another brand that really does sexy fragrance as well. This one is called, of course, Hypnotizing Fire. Hypnotizing Fire from the Harmonist, man. And I reviewed this fragrance, so I'll just remind you guys quickly. You get that spiciness in the opening from the pimento. I pick up some nutmeg and cinnamon there. Smoky opopanax with rose. Like I told you, man, my guy, the late, great Kevin Samuels, said this fragrance could come with birth control, and I tend to agree with him. Check it out. If sexy is what you want, sexy is what you will get right here. From the house of the Harmonist. Again, this fragrance is called Hypnotizing Fire. All right, guys, this next fragrance comes from the house of 4160 Tuesdays. You already know the theme of the list, man, so listen. Sexy, all right? This one is called Captured by Candlelight. Captured by Candlelight. Oh, this one is smoky. There's this really smoky nuance that's coming. It's kind of lays in the background of this fragrance. All right, so that's the whole candlelight aspect of this. You got some toffee in here, so you get some sweetness in the opening. This stuff is amazing, guys. You got to put your nose on this thing. You have a nice kind of honeyed beeswax that's kind of drizzled right over the top of some sensuality in this fragrance. And this is one from the house of 4160 Tuesdays that not a lot of people are going to be wearing because not a lot of people talk about this brand. All right. But again, if you're looking for something sexy and sensual and seductive, then this is one that you need to get your nose on. It's from the house of 4160 Tuesdays. And again, this one is called Captured by Candlelight. All right, guys, this next fragrance is one I've talked about here recently, but my gosh, it fits this category, man. From the house of Narcotica, this is Doza. Doza, man, listen, certain notes just really exude sensuality and sexiness, and that one of those notes is tobacco, amber, of course, and you get a host of that in this fragrance. It's sweetened up a little bit, of course, when it starts to dry down with that vanilla bean. There's some smokiness in here. This next fragrance, I'm just going to show you guys the bottle because you can't really, it's hard to get it. If you get your hands on it, then you are one lucky person. It's from the House of Killing. I've talked about this so much. Straight to Heaven Extreme. Straight to Heaven Extreme. There's some patchouli in this. There's some cedar wood in this as well. And there is a boozy rum accord in this as well. And all I can say is that it's sexy. That's all I can say. This is the Mrs. favorite fragrance on me. Period, point blank, hands down, in a discussion. This is her favorite fragrance on this guy's skin, okay? And I always say, if you're trying to take a straight to, this is what you need in your life. From the House of Killian, this is Straight to Heaven Extreme. Now, if you want to go with a sexy, with just a masculine, manly sexiness, I get so many compliments when I wear this fragrance. It's from the house of Frederick Malle, and I've talked about this a lot. I've talked about it a lot, but this is called French Lover. This is French Lover. This is just masculine sexiness. To really simplify this fragrance, it is green smoky woods is what you're going to get from this fragrance. Again, if you never smelled it, imagine a fragrance like Sycamore from Chanel, or there's also Spice and Woods from Creed. Those three fragrances are very, very similar to me. And all three really could make a list like this because they smell very similar and do similar things. This is that sophisticated, manly sexiness. Ladies, love this one. From the house of Frederick Malle. Again, this is called French Lover. This next fragrance can be summed up by two words, well, two notes really in my humble opinion. It's caramel and patchouli. It's from the house of Unique Luxury. And it's all in the name, guys. This is called Crush on Me. Crush on Me, very alluring scent. Now, again, this is going to be really, really sweet. This is more of a flirtatious fragrance, but it works. It grabs attention. It's an extrait de parfum, so it jumps off of your skin. And man, this one really catches women's attention. Trust me on that. Well, it does for me. But you guys can check it out. It's from the house of Unique Luxury. And this is called Crush on Me. All right, guys, and last but not least, like I said, a fragrance brand that makes no bones about the fact that they are trying to produce sexy fragrances. And on this one, as well as many others from the range, mission accomplished. From the house of Initial Parfums, this one is called Absolute Aphrodisiac. Absolute Aphrodisiac, man. This is, again, another one that's really manly sexy, right? You got some leather in here, castoreum, so it's almost like a double dose of this leathery kind of feel to this fragrance with some musk. And then you have some sweetness that comes from vanilla and amber. All five notes, very sensual, very sexy, very masculine. Perfect for catching women's attention on male skin. From the house of Initial Parfums, again, this is called Absolute Aphrodisiac. All right, guys, that is it, man. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed the list today. What are some fragrances you have in your collection that stop women in their tracks, that are lust-inducing, and make them want to find out more about what you're wearing? I would love to hear from you down in the comment section. Now, as always, I sincerely appreciate your time and your attention to these videos. I know you guys don't have to watch, but you do. And I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to make sure you take a few moments to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you're sharing these videos out to some other folks out there that you think could use this information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darren. I'm the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side.